Hey there, it's Leonard with Destiny Marketing Solutions, where we turn digital frustration into revenue generation. So, I was talking with an electrician last week who couldn't figure out why his ads were getting clicks, but his phone wasn't ringing. Turns out, his website looked like it was wired in the 90s. Mobile users were bouncing faster than a circuit breaker in a lightning storm. Now, if you're running an electrical service company doing $200,000 annually but still struggling with inconsistent leads, stick around. By the end of this video, I'll show you exactly why mobile optimization isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely essential for your business. And I've got an expert tip later that most electricians completely overlook that could instantly boost your call volume. Let me hit you with some reality. Right now, someone within 5 miles of your shop is frantically searching emergency electrician near me on their phone. But here's what's actually happening to most electricians like you. Most homeowners or business owners are searching for electricians exclusively on their phones. These aren't casual browsers, they have actual electrical problems that need fixing now. These mobile searches are your hottest leads. They're ready to act immediately. But if your site is difficult to use on a smartphone, they'll bounce in seconds. And guess where they go next? Straight to your competitor with the better mobile experience. Think about it. When was the last time you tried using your own website on a phone? If you're like most of my clients, you probably never even checked, or it's been a while since you have checked. So what exactly are these mobile customers expecting? It's pretty straightforward. Fast load times. Try to target under 3 seconds. Anything longer and 53% of your website visitors abandon ship. Easy navigation with dumb-friendly buttons. Nobody wants to zoom in and pinch and scroll around just to tap your call now button. Click to call functionality front and center. Mobile users want to tap once and be talking to you or someone from your team. And simple, short forms that don't require a magnifying glass to fill out. Now, let's talk about what's happening when your site fails these mobile tests. Your leads bounce before they even see what services you offer. You've already lost them. You get fewer form fills and phone calls, even though your traffic might be the same. Google and Bing and other search engines actually penalize a poor mobile experience. So you have less visibility, so that's lower rankings in the search results. And even if you decide to go the ads route, typically your average cost per click is going to go higher. So you're getting less clicks for the same budget if you're not providing an optimal user experience with your website. So it's like a tax that Google is charging you. Here's the kicker. You're paying for traffic, whether it's through SEO, ads, or your time creating content or your team's time creating content that never turns into real opportunities. All that work, zero results to show for it. So how do we fix this? First, we need to diagnose the problem. Here's what I want you to do today after watching this video. Visit your own site on your phone and try to book a service. Be honest. Would you hire yourself based on this experience? Count how many steps it takes to call your business. If it's more than 2 taps, you're losing leads. Check for slow website times, broken buttons, broken links, or text that's too small to read. And run your site through a tool like Google's mobile-friendly test. Just Google that term and drop in your URL. The question you need to answer is simple. If you wouldn't book yourself from your phone, why would your customers? And now, I'm going to look at a few tools here. So for this demo, I'm going to use Wells Electric Inc.'s website. They are an electric company based out in the San Francisco Bay Area. And first thing I wanted to show you, I'll drop this link in the YouTube video description, but the first thing I wanted to show you is a tool I use called webpagetest.org. And so when you go to the website, you want to make sure you choose the Core Web Vitals option here in the dropdown. That's what I'll be going over here today. And then you want to add your website URL. By default, you'll have the mobile 4G selected. I suggest just sticking with the default, then click Start Test. So it may take some time for that test to run, but once the test has finished, you'll see a results page like this, and this will give you what we call core web vital metrics. And so we have the largest contentful paint, the cumulative layout shift, and total blocking time. So I'll start with that middle metric, cumulative layout shift, or CLS for short. So what that'll tell you is that the cumulative layout shift, that is, will tell you, it looks like my browser is. Okay. So the cumulative layout shift will tell you how mobile friendly your website is, or in other words, how easy it is to use on a mobile device. So what it's measuring is how much do the elements on the page shift depending on the screen resolution or screen size. And so you can see here, the website they were using as an example, it actually has a good score of 0.026. You don't need to know the metrics, just know if it's green, it's good. The other two metrics, largest contentful paint and total blocking time, those are linked to the website speed. And as you can see here, we're not getting those nice green scores for these. So we want to make sure that we improve them. So that's a sign that the website speed needs improvement. So we scroll down, and this is where, unless you develop your website or you have development experience, this is where you might want to partner with your agency if you're working with one, or with a developer to try to improve your website speed. And so what we can see here is that we have what we call a water flow breakdown. So what this water flow breakdown will show you are all of the elements, all of the code that's loading once someone goes to the website URL that you entered. And if you want to keep this simple, you want to look for those different codes here that have the longest load time. And you can easily determine which elements have the longest load time. They'll have the longest bars horizontally here in the waterfall diagram. So if I'm looking at this, I see that these two bars here in the middle, or really three bars, they load at 654 milliseconds, 644 milliseconds, and 639 milliseconds, followed by Google Fonts, which loads at 994 milliseconds. And so when I'm looking at opportunities to optimize the site speed, I may want to have my developer take a closer look at these elements to see if they are actually needed on your website. So that would be just one part of assessing your website speed, your website load speed, and finding ways to optimize. Other things you might want to consider or discuss with your developer is using what's called browser caching, where your users who visit your website, if they are to return, the browser will store the cookies for your website, so the website will load faster. So you may have noticed this if you visit a website regularly, the website loads a lot more quickly for your subsequent visits after your first visit. And also another kind of low-hanging fruit for your website speed, looking at using a content delivery network, or CDN for short. I like Cloudflare. They offer a free option, and that option remains free until you hit a certain tier of website traffic. And what I've found is that free option will actually suffice unless you're getting website traffic from all over the country. But check out Cloudflare. And again, I'll make sure to drop those resources in the video description. Now, I'll go back to the content. So let's go back here. So I already mentioned some of the solutions for your mobile site speed optimization. It's not just about shrinking your desktop website, it's about redesigning for action. So you need a responsive design that automatically adjusts to screen size. If you're using a popular website platform like WordPress or Squarespace, you're in luck, because typically the templates that are used for these sites, for these platforms, it's going to be responsive out the box. But this isn't optional anymore. If you haven't updated your website in years, and I know there's some of you out there, you want to make sure to at least try to use a responsive template so that it's easy to use your website across different screen sizes. You also want to prioritize content hierarchy. So think about what matters most to your users and make sure that it appears first on mobile. Your services, your phone number, your service area, maybe your unique value proposition, these should be front and center on a mobile device. So you want to make sure they display very well for mobile users. You want to implement sticky calls to action. So call now buttons should follow users as they scroll. One thing that annoys me and maybe annoys you, if you're scrolling on a website and you're just looking to get more content, get more information before you make a decision, and then you made your decision and that decision is a yes, but you're still trying to find how you can get in contact with the company. And so you want to make sure to incorporate that on your website with what we call a sticky call to action. Many times you'll see this as a sticky top navigation menu, and I'll actually show an example here shortly. You also want to make sure your font sizes and spacing are easy to read and tap while zooming. When we optimize Electricians' website for mobile, typically there's a direct correlation with lead volume improvements. And these happen really quickly. So assuming that you are receiving at least some significant traffic to your site, we can start seeing improvements within the first 30 days. And as I mentioned, I'm going to show an example of what I mean by that sticky navigation. So I'm going to scroll in here a bit and just pay attention to the top here. So where it says home, about, service area, contact, and so forth. So notice how when I scroll, all of that information, that top bar remains visible, and it will be the same experience on a mobile device. But what's most important is that call button is visible, regardless of where I go on the page. You can even see they have also frozen their different service category pages. This way, as the user continues to read more about the company, Wells Electrical, if they know they need a residential electrician or commercial service, they can quickly go to that page to find more information that's relevant to them. So let's say you're not big on using mobile phones for whatever reason, or maybe you just want to see how your website displays across different types of mobile devices. There is an option here. I'm using Microsoft Edge for this demo, but if you're using Google Chrome or any of the other popular web browsers, they have similar features where you can go to more tools and then go to developer tools. I believe it's called the same thing in Google Chrome, I forget. But once we're here in the developer tools, notice how on the left-hand side, I can see how this website looks on a mobile phone, and specifically a phone that's 400 by 863 in width. If you want to look at a specific device, so you see here there's options for iPhones, for different popular Android phones, and then also iPad and Microsoft Surface, you can do that here as well. So let's just say if I pick iPhone, looks very similar, but it did change there a bit. And in order to get there, you just want to make sure to toggle the device emulation, and you're able to see how your website will look on different devices. And this is something I like to do, especially when I'm launching a new website. But let's say if we're making updates on a page, maybe adding new pictures or new sections, just giving it a once over to make sure that it's looking good across all devices. So this is something, again, you don't need any special tools, just your internet browser and to know to go to that developer tools section. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to my slideshow. And now I'm going to talk about page speed. It can be a sales tool. Every second your page delays in loading, you're losing money. Load time directly impacts both bounce rate and conversions. Amazon found that even a 1-second delay cost them $1.6 billion annually. You may not be Amazon, but the principle applies to your website as well. The fixes aren't complicated, so you want to work with your development team to compress your site images. In a nutshell, this means, let's say if you have an image that's 1 megabyte, compressing it so that it's 400 kilobytes, making it smaller so that it doesn't take as many resources to load. You want to reduce any unnecessary code. Let's say if you have plugins, if you're on WordPress or you're using different tracking codes, are these plugins necessary? Are you actively using them on your website? If not, then you can remove them. So that removes unnecessary code that the browser has to load. You can also use a technique, or your developer can use a technique called minification, where you're finding ways to minify the code so again, that it's not taking as many resources to load. Already mentioned the benefit of browser caching. If you are on WordPress or any of the popular platforms, this is easily implemented with a plugin. And also consider performance-friendly hosting. There are a plethora of hosting providers out there. So you also want to just read the reviews and specifically look for a hosting provider that specializes with your website platform. We do a lot of WordPress, so you want to find a provider like a WP Engine where you're going to be optimized for speed. And remember, your goal is 2 to 3 seconds max load time on mobile. That's the sweet spot where you're going to be best optimized for conversion. Next, you want to optimize your forms for mobile. So let's talk about forms. They're often the biggest conversion killer on mobile sites. Instead of having your website users have to enter text, use drop-downs, radio buttons, toggles to make filling out a form easier. For service selection, you can use a drop-down menu. Only ask for the essentials at that point: the name, phone number, service needed, zip code. And just think about this. After maybe 3 or 4 fields, every additional field on your form costs you completions or conversions. So just make sure that if you are adding additional fields, that there's an important reason why you need this information with your first interaction with that prospect. Something like this can improve your conversion rates by up to 30%. And remember, if filling out your form feels like a chore, users will skip it entirely. Be ruthless about simplicity here. Mobile optimization is just one part of your marketing engine. If your site doesn't convert mobile users, everything else suffers, from lead generation to close rates. That's why we developed the full circuit growth method, a comprehensive framework that helps electricians like you uncover these gaps and scale without losing those high intent leads. As you can see here in a diagram, we start by addressing the foundational problem of qualified leads, then work through each phase of your customer journey. Remember this: you can't grow a modern electrical business with a mobile experiences that screams 2010. So what happens when you implement these mobile improvements? Let me show you what we found during our full circuit growth audit. And these are some of the typical discoveries. We identify the exact mobile issues currently hurting your conversion rates. Most electricians are shocked to discover what's happening on their site. We review how your site performs on actual devices, not just simulators, because real-world usage is what matters. We evaluate how fast and easy it is to book from a phone, tracking the actual user journey. We check form usability, call to action visibility, and design flow to find conversion blockers. And you walk away with a prioritized roadmap to fix what's broken, focusing on quick wins first. The bottom line, you're not losing leads because of traffic, you're losing them because of friction. Here at Destiny Marketing Solutions, we help electricians turn mobile traffic into booked jobs. It's that simple. If what I've shared today resonates with you and you're tired of losing leads to poor mobile experiences, I want to offer you something special. Book a full circuit growth audit with us. During this session, we'll analyze your current mobile performance, identify specific conversion blockers, show you exactly how your competitors are outperforming you on mobile, and give you a clear roadmap for improvement. You can schedule directly by visiting our website, destinymarketingsolutions.com, or using a link in the description below. Remember, your next job is already searching for you. Your next customer, that is. So make sure your site is ready when they are. I promise you an expert tip that most electricians may miss, so here it is. place a click to call button at the very top of every mobile page. Not in the menu, not halfway down, but right at the top where it's immediately visible. If you recall that example I showed with the sticky call to action, a sticky bar, that's what you want to do. You want to have that number to where someone just clicks it and it automatically pull up their phone app on their phone. Use those sticky bars that follow users as they scroll so they can call you at any point in their journey. Test different call to action colors for maximum visibility. Our data shows that orange and green typically outperform others for electricians. And here's another tip. Link directly to your Google review form in your follow-up text after service. This simple automation can double your review rate overnight. And it's very easy when you're sending that via text or via email for someone on their mobile phone to just click that link and go directly to your Google business profile. Listen, I get it. You're an electrician. You're not a web designer. You're not a marketer. Your focus should be on serving customers, not debugging mobile code. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more strategies specifically for electricians. Drop a comment below with your biggest website challenge, and I might feature your question in an upcoming video. I'm Leonard from Destiny Marketing Solutions, helping you spark more leads and power up your revenue. Remember, wire your website right and the calls will flow. See you in the next one.